Okay, so in my last video, I talked about a few skills that ambitious women need in order to reset, focus, and move forward with intention. After thinking about that conversation, I realized something. In this economy, it's not enough to improve a little here and there. If you want long-term success, you're gonna have to build skills that shape who you are, increase how much you can earn, and stay useful no matter how tools, trends, or markets change. And developing the right skills matter whether you're looking for a new job, becoming a content creator, or starting a side business. So again, I am going to be sharing 21 skills that will pay off for life. These skills multiply the value of every other skill you learn. And these are the skills that will remain relevant across industries and over time. And since there are 21 skills that we're going to talk about in this video, we're going to move through them quickly. So when you come across a skill that you want to develop, drop it in the comments, write it down, research ways to develop or improve it to fit your own situation, and start applying what you're learning. So let's get into it. So starting off, self-analysis means knowing your strengths, your weak spots, habits, and patterns. When you understand what you do well, you focus on skills that bring income. And when you know where you're falling short, you can put together a plan instead of repeating the same mistakes and blocking your own progress. So this is a skill that will help you stop wasting time on the wrong areas and start strengthening what actually will move you forward. And consistent results are what increase your income over time. Learning how to learn means being able to pick up new skills quickly and applying them without hesitation. So tools often change, industries evolve, and platforms are always being updated. So if you can shorten the time between learning something and using it, you position yourself ahead of people who wait too long to adjust. The skill keeps you from being stuck in roles or systems or strategies that no longer serve you. The faster you absorb information, you test it and refine it, the more useful you become in any environment. So as your ability to adapt increases, so does your earning potential because you are not limited to one path or one skill set. Now, this next one is especially important for women who are in the process of creating their own personal brands. Idea generation means producing useful concepts that people care about and find valuable. When you can create ideas that solve problems, you can turn these ideas into content, offers, or services that meet real needs. So strong ideas can be packaged and delivered in many different forms, which is going to give you flexibility in how you create and capture value. This skill helps you become a source of solution instead of just a producer of information. So whether you want to create a personal brand for the sake of being an entrepreneur, if you want a personal brand to position yourself within your organization, to step up and be a thought leader or a subject matter expert, when you consistently generate ideas that connect you with people, you create opportunities to build products, attract attention, and grow your influence. And when your ideas create value, they open multiple paths for income over time. And the single one thing that helps you generate better ideas is being able to think in terms of solving problems. So solutionary thinking means spotting a real problem and fixing it. When you understand what people struggle with, you can remove stress, you can save them time, or you can help them get better results. So when you find a gap and you fill it, you create demand by offering something that directly improves someone else's situation. So regardless if you are aiming to build a personal brand to position yourself as a thought leader within your organization, or you want to step out and do your own thing, the better you are with identifying problems that your audience is dealing with, the better you become with creating or developing offers and presentations that speak directly to those problems, allowing you to turn your effort into something valuable. And when you consistently identify problems and provide solutions, that's how you build relevance, trust, and income all at the same time. So this was one of the skills that I mentioned in my last video, and I don't think everyone needs to become like certified in project management, but I do trust and believe that if you learn and master skills within project management, you can provide a lot of value to the projects that you're working on. So project management means turning goals into steps and completing them. When you break down a vision into clear actions and follow through, you move ideas out of your notes and into real outcomes. So knowing how to organize tasks and manage timelines will help you execute with consistency. When you consistently complete what you start, you build trust within yourself first, and then you also communicate to brands and potential customers or clients that you are reliable when it comes to getting things done. And this strengthens your reputation and produces results that people are willing to pay for. So communication, it's a two-way street. It's going to require you to communicate better, and then it also requires you to listen listen better. So when you truly listen and you understand what people care about, what they struggle with, and what matters to them, and the better that you listen and understand people, the better you can communicate in return. If people do not understand your value, they will not invest. And if you don't understand their needs, you cannot position your value in a way that connects. So strong communication skills don't only allow you to show up and communicate value more clearly, but it also helps you show up more confidently. And clear and confident expression combined with strong listening allows you to address real concerns, remove doubt, and guide the conversation towards action. And I want to be very clear, communicating better between potential brand partnerships, between yourself and your clients, communicating better at your job, all of these include being responsive and maintaining a level of professionalism. These are the things that will keep you booked and busy, which moves us into our next point of setting a standard for yourself. If you constantly charge too little or set poor terms, you lower the value of your time and your skills. And that doesn't just show up in business, it shows up in your friendships, your relationships, and the way that people treat you in general. And I always say on this channel, you show other people how to respect you based on how you respect yourself. So firm boundaries protect your time, your energy, and your focus. Walking away from situations that don't align with your standards protect your long-term growth. And the way that you respect yourself, again, it sets the standard for what you allow, and that standard influences what you earn and what you attract. Self-discipline is following through on what you decide matters, even when your mood shifts. So a lot of ambitious women struggle with discipline, not because they lack drive, but because they have not built systems that support consistency. Let's say you're balancing a 9-to-5 while building something on your own. Discipline forces you to prioritize, cut back on distractions, and use your energy intentionally. So steady follow through builds skills, builds credibility, and moves your ideas into real outcomes that affect both your income and your life. So this next one is the one single thing that will also help with increasing your ability to practice discipline. Discipline is a long-term game. Things do not always happen overnight. And so learning how to trust the process means continuing the work even when you cannot yet see the results. And growth usually feels slow in the beginning, which is why many people stop right before progress becomes visible. When you stay committed during that quiet phase, your skills strengthen, your confidence builds, and your results begin to compound. The women who see real progress, those are the ones who keep going when there is no immediate reward. And over time, that consistency builds both personal growth and financial growth in a way that looks sudden but was built slowly. Self-motivation means pushing yourself forward without waiting for outside pressure, reminders, or approval. So no one is coming to force you to improve your health, grow your brand, or increase your income. When you rely on your own drive instead of external pressure, you take action faster and recover more quickly from setbacks. And that is a big part of becoming the brand. Again, whether you want to position yourself as an entrepreneur or strengthen your personal brand within your organization, creating a passion project gives you the space to practice self-motivation. So taking initiative fuels growth in your career. The more you act without being told, the more opportunities you place yourself in position to access. So as someone with a background in marketing and sales, I am speaking from experience when I say that understanding how to sell can really change your life. Now, working in sales is not for everyone. So matter of fact, let's just say this is the art of persuasion. So selling at its core is guiding someone to exchange money for value, and persuasion is the skill that makes that possible. So whether you are running a business, growing a personal brand, negotiating your salary, or even presenting an idea, you are persuading in some form. When you clearly understand the benefits of what you offer and you're able to connect it to what someone actually needs, it makes it easier for them to say yes. And although this platform is not about becoming an influencer, this is essentially the key for influencing. It's the ability to creatively communicate value in a way that highlights a real benefit. So the stronger your ability to persuade, the more control you have over opportunities and your income. A well-told story gives context to your ideas and it makes your message relatable instead of abstract. So when people recognize parts of their own experience in your story, they become more open to what you are offering and more engaged with your message. And this is the core of becoming the brand. It starts with understanding how to use your journey of transformation and turn your personal development into something that represents you. The brand is the vehicle, but your story is the fuel. The better you get at telling your story, the easier it becomes to guide people towards your products, your service, or whatever you attach to your brand. And this applies applies to content, interviews, sales, conversations, or even how you talk about your goals. When people connect with your message, they pay attention, and when they pay attention, they are more likely to invest in your brand. And this next one connects directly to storytelling. So data analysis is tracking numbers and learning from results instead of relying on guesswork. So data tells a story about what your audience responds to, what your body needs, or where your habits are helping or hurting you. When you learn how to measure performance, you will see and understand what is producing results and what's draining your time, your energy, or your money. So that allows you to adjust based on evidence instead of, again, emotions. So let's talk about what that really looks like. If you wear a fitness ring or you use an app to track your sleep, your steps, or even your weight, that data is telling you something. If your sleep tracker shows you that you're only getting 5 hours a night, that may explain why your focus feels off. If your content analytics show higher engagement on certain topics, that will tell you where attention is strongest. So when you learn how to read that data instead of ignoring it, you make better decisions, you can adjust your habits, refine your message, and build smarter plans around your goals, including your health, your content, and your income. And over time, paying attention to the right numbers will give you an advantage because you're no longer guessing, you are responding to real patterns. So self-advocacy is the ability to state what you expect and stand behind it. So many women are highly capable but underpaid because they assume their work will speak for itself. However, when you clearly communicate your expectations around pay, workload, or terms, you shift the dynamic. So you stop waiting to be chosen and you start positioning yourself intentionally. And over time, that difference shows up in your compensation and in the respect that you receive. Now, financial discipline determines whether the money you earn builds your future or disappears. So a big part of developing financial discipline is learning more about money. When you track your spending, you plan ahead, and you separate wants from investments, you give yourself leverage. And money managed well becomes a tool that you can use for assets, for your education, or for opportunities. Without discipline, higher income will simply just raise the cost of your lifestyle. I created a video about the cycle of buying more to become the woman that you desire to be. I'll link it here if you haven't seen it yet. The phrase "more money, more problems" becomes real when income increases without structure. So financial discipline helps you avoid gaining more problems as you gain more money. And the thing about this is, as ambitious women, we want to increase our income. We want to grow in our careers. But the last thing I know that I want for myself is to earn more money and to be buried under more debt. So right now I'm learning more about how to make my money work for me. I've had a high yield savings account with Marcus by Goldman Sachs for a few years. And recently I opened a brokerage account with Fidelity. So in seasons when money feels tighter due to circumstances outside of my control, learning more about money and strengthening my financial discipline has really helped me move out of survival mode. So definitely, this is one of the skills that I'm focused on the most right now. If you want a deeper video on this, let me know. I will gladly make one. Okay, so I think that decision making is probably the most valuable skill on this list. So decision making is choosing actions that benefit you long term instead of reacting in the moment. When you slow down and think through the outcome of a decision, you protect your energy, your money, and your reputation. So every choice you make compounds, whether it's about your career, your health, your relationships, or your finances. And to piggyback off of making better decisions, the ability to make better decisions will make a major impact on the kind of relationships you create and maintain. Relationship discernment is choosing who gets access to your time, your energy, and your reputation. The wrong connections can waste your effort, distract you, or pull you into situations that do not align with your goals. And the right connections can expose you to new ideas, partnerships, and opportunities you maybe would not have been able to access on your own. So as ambitious women, who you surround yourself with influences your standards and your growth. When I look back at my career, almost every job I've ever had came through someone I knew or a connection I maintained. So even now, as I continue through my MBA journey, I am building my personal brand along with working on different projects and different initiatives. And I make it a priority to use LinkedIn more intentionally, to attend events and conferences, and to follow up with the people that I'm meeting, because you truly never know where your next opportunity will come from. And that is why being discerning about your relationships matter. When you choose your circle wisely, you increase the quality of your opportunities priorities, and in many cases, your income as well. So adaptability is adjusting when conditions shift instead of resisting change. Income sources can change very quickly, whether it's a job transition, a shift in the market, or a change in your personal situation. When you respond with action instead of panic, you shorten the recovery time to protect your stability. And being adaptable allows you to learn new tools, shift strategies, and stay relevant when circumstances evolve. That flexibility keeps your opportunities open and your earnings steady over time. So this next area is one that I'm very passionate about. Even though I don't get to talk about it as much on this channel, wellness is probably the #1 area that I focus on in my life. As this community continues to grow, I do hope to share more about my journey with wellness, because becoming the woman that you desire to be requires a holistic approach. So developing the skill to maintain your health and wellness means protecting your sleep, paying attention to the quality of your food, and staying consistent with movement. When your energy is low, your focus and performance suffer. Taking care of your body supports clear thinking, consistent execution, and your ability to manage stress. So strong health and wellness makes it easier for you to show up for your work, your goals, and your responsibilities. When you maintain your health and wellness, you protect the foundation that supports your productivity and your income. Now, emotional detachment is keeping your composure, especially when things do not go your way. Not every opportunity will work out. You will face rejection, delays, redirection, and moments where you question yourself. If you are serious about becoming the woman that you desire to be, you have to accept that your journey will not be straight or predictable. So staying emotionally detached from the outcome doesn't mean that you don't care. It just means that you care enough to stay level-headed. When you react from emotion, you risk damaging relationships, closing doors, or creating problems that don't need to exist. And this applies in business, in your career, and in your personal life. So not every rejection is personal. Not every delay is a failure. Not every disagreement requires a reaction. When you stay emotionally steady, you protect your reputation and you keep your options open. And over time, that composure, it builds resilience, it strengthens your relationships, your opportunities, and your income. Now, although this is the last skill on the list, it may be the most impactful. So being aligned with your purpose will shape your decisions, your effort, and your standards in a way that nothing else can. Purpose alignment is choosing work that fits your values and the kind of woman you want to become. When your efforts conflict with who you are, burnout shows up quickly and your performance will suffer. When your work aligns with your standards and your long-term vision, it strengthens your resilience because it feels connected to something larger than a paycheck. Now, that doesn't mean that every day is going to feel easy, but it does mean that the work that you're doing will carry more weight and meaning beyond just money. When what you're building reflects who you are, you stay committed longer, you make stronger decisions, and you protect your growth. And over time, that consistency turns into results that impact both your income and your life. So we made it through all 21. I know that was a lot, but I do hope that as we move through them, you took notes of the ones that you need to spend more time developing. Start with an area that feels weakest or one that will create the biggest shift in your life right now. If there is a certain skill you want me to break down further, you can drop it down in the comments and let me know why it stands out to you. I'm really working to build this community more intentionally, and so your feedback really does help me create content that actually supports where you are. So with that, if there is a topic that you also want me to cover and it's not already on this channel, let me know. In this season, I care deeply about who we are developing into, and so these 21 skills are not just about income, but they're also about identity, our standards, and ownership over our time, money, and future. Before I close the video out, I want to thank you for watching it all the way through. If you are serious about becoming the woman that you desire to be and building a brand that reflects who you are becoming, be sure to check out the Become the Brand guide below. I created it to help you define what you're going to stand for in this season, shape your message without performing, and show up in a way that aligns with your values and long-term vision. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next video.